Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, holy moly, when the Cubs have an off day, do they have an off day? Cade Cavalli was absolutely amazing. We'll break down the game, and also we'll talk about Daniel Palencia's concern in his rehab start. Do we have a problem maybe with Daniel Palencia in the closer position? As we look at it right now, the Cubs scored 0 runs today on, what was it, 1 hit? Justin, are you kidding me right now? They scored only 1? God. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast coming to you live in the Xfinity Loft. That's right, in beautiful downtown Chicago, right here in the West Loop. Today's episode and every CHGO Cubs podcast is presented by Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. What's up, everybody? Jump into the chat. Free hour of therapy session right now. Cubs lose 7-0. Joey Christopoulos, Justin Roman, Sarah on the ones and twos.
Go Cubs.
I agree. Just not today. We had Luke Stuckmeyer, but he said I'm out.
Yeah, he in his contract, he's not doing losses anymore, he said. I was
in
like,
his contract, he's not doing perfect games. He will not do a no-hitter, and he certainly will not do a one-hitter. No, we'll have the great Luke Stuckmeyer back with us tomorrow at the Friday 120 Club. But, Roman, let's just start your impressions on a total dud of a Cubs loss today.
This game, honestly, I'm unaffected by it. Like, yeah, we lost. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it stunk. Yeah, we had no offense. Yeah, we run into a buzzsaw of a pitcher over on the national side. I don't care. Listen, the Cubs were not going to go undefeated the rest of the season. It would have been nice to sweep, absolutely, but they still won the series, and the offense was great the first 2 games. So, you know, if you're going to lay a clunker, lay the ultimate clunker and almost get no hit. Thankfully, they did not get no hit. But, you know, whatever, flush it, get on the plane, and come back to Wrigley. And tomorrow, let's win another series at home at Wrigley against the Cardinals. But honestly, it's like I'm not even mad. It's like I'll go home tonight and sleep fine. This game didn't bother me at all because we did win the series. And again, they were not going to go undefeated the rest of the season. It was just one of those days.
Yeah, not freaking out over one game. You're absolutely right. It's been funny, you know, in a season where you try and find some sort of thematic elements, but there's been a lot of variance in this Cubs season, a lot of it due to injuries, a lot of it earlier in the year due to streakiness. I mean, the one thing that you kind of can hang your hat on a little bit about the Chicago Cubs is every once in a while they're going to lay a stinker, and today was one of those days. They've now been shut out 11 times this season.
Crazy.
And that's not something that I'm freaking out about, but it is strange that they have this propensity to go on a bit of, let's just call, a bender. You know what I mean? They'll go on an offensive or a winning binge for 4, 5, 6 days, and in many cases, 2 10-game winning streaks this year.
Yep.
I felt like that this was a little bit of that today. You got to tip your hat to Cade Cavalli today. He was absolutely awesome. I'm going to dive into his numbers in just a second here. But, yeah, like the important thing is you're heading home to Wrigley Field this weekend. You're playing the Cardinals. You're going to be at Wrigley Field. Yep. We've been to a lot of Friday 120 clubs where the performances, let's just say, on the Friday 120 club by the Cubs has been a little subdued. Yeah. It hasn't been awesome. So if you're telling me today is the day that they have their off game, today is the day that they have a little bit of that blip or a little bit of that exhale, then fine. If they can come into this weekend and have a good series, all is forgiven and no big deal because they still won the series against the Nationals. Yeah. I still believe in this offense. But, again, sometimes a pitcher's just got your number. And Cade Cavalli had their number 1 through 9 today.
And he beat us, I believe, opening day as well. So, I mean, he has our number, right? And Becky, great point. Let me zoom out for a second here. The Cubs swept the Dodgers, beat the Blue Jays, and went on to have a 4-2 road trip in Kansas City and Washington. Yeah. Like, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, no one's going to be undefeated ever. So I know our expectations are sky high, and I love that about us. Like, I'm so glad that our expectations are sky high right now, that we think that we're never going to lose another game. That's just not reality, right? So ultimately, you sweep the Dodgers, you beat the Blue Jays, and then you go 4-2 on this road trip, and that's a win. I mean, that's a win, right? So, again, flush it. It wasn't our day. Their pitcher pitched great. Our hitters did nothing. And I guess if I'm, going to be like one thing I'm worried about and or didn't like about today was Gausman, right? Like I think he looked really unhittable for the first 3+ innings. And then the wheels kind of fell off, right? And a lot of contact and not a lot of hard contact except for that bomb that went out for a 3-run homer. But I guess that was the one takeaway. I don't care that we lost. I wish Gausman would have looked better in the loss versus, I believe it was 4 2/3, 6 earned runs, right? Yeah. So didn't love that, but again, his first outing was phenomenal. So, I'm going to flush the whole game and I'm not going to lose any sleep over this. This happens and go Dodgers.
What's up, Becky in the chat? What's up, Godfather, Erica, Flat Earth Poker? Thanks, everybody, for jumping into the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're all going to get through this next hour together. The Cubs lost the game. We're going to be okay.
All good.
But, guys, 4 likes? Come on. We didn't play today. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay to hit the like button. It's absolutely free.
Well, clarify. You're not liking the loss. You're liking our show coverage of the loss.
We're liking that. Yeah, we're going to be that. We're going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine. Before we get to Gausman, I do want to, because we're going to talk for the next hour about the Chicago Cubs. Mm-hmm. I do want to shine a light on what Cade Cavalli did today.
Yeah.
Just to provide some perspective of. I know a lot of times Cubs fans, when something goes wrong, you immediately point the finger at your team, at your players, the players that you root for and that you cheer for on an everyday basis. But sometimes, every once in a while, it's okay to say the opposition just had your number today. Cade Cavalli averaged on the fastball over 98 miles per hour. He threw 6 different pitches. He threw a changeup and sinker 8% of the time, but it was really that knuckle curve today that gave the Cubs real fits today, rolling that knuckle curve out a lot against left-handed hitters. And here's the stat that really lets you know that he had everything going today. Whiff rate today, over 34%. He struck out 10 guys. He struck out 10 guys on 4 different pitches.
Wow.
So at least 1 strikeout with 4 different pitches. 1 with the cutter, 2 with the 4-seam, 5 with the sweeper, and 2 with the knuckle curve. Mm-hmm. So when you could strike out hitters using 4 different pitches, that's when you know you're rolling today. And let's be honest, the dude was carrying a no-no deep into the game. Thankfully, Michael Busch did not make this a historical podcast today.
Yeah.
And look, I'm with you on Gausman, man, but it didn't matter today.
Yeah, it didn't.
He could have thrown a 1-run, 7 innings, and the Cubs weren't scoring against this guy today. That's a little bit of how it went.
And also, by the way, the Washington Nationals offense have scored the most runs in baseball.
They're no joke. I don't care that they're in last place. I'm with you, man.
So, ultimately, they were going to score runs. I think, if anything, pat ourselves on the back for the past 2 games, kind of holding them at bay a little bit. They were going to score runs, and there's a reason why they lead all of baseball in runs. I do think we're the better offense, and other categories we do beat them offensively, but they've scored the most runs in baseball. So, they put up a 7 spot, and, you're right. Cavalli was really, really, really good. Gausman was matching him for the first 3 innings, and I liked seeing that because coming off of his dominant debut with the Cubs, I'm like, here we go. Uh-oh. Is it going to be back-to-back, dominant pitches or outings, I should say, but it was not. Gausman, the wheels fell off a little bit, but you're right. I mean, had he gone 8 innings with 1 run, it didn't matter. We scored 0 runs, and that's okay. I see our guy Godfather saying no such thing as a good loss. I mean, I hear you, but the Cubs were not going to go undefeated the rest of the season. So no good thing as a good loss. Yeah, you're right, but ultimately, they weren't going to go undefeated. So they won the series, 4-2 for the road trip after sweeping the Dodgers, beating the Blue Jays. Let's come home and Friday 120 Club tomorrow, and I would love to sweep the Dirty Birds, but let's win the series at the very least and keep the momentum going.
You're right, Roman. We play baseball tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can wipe this taste out of your mouth starting tomorrow at the 120 Club versus the Cardinals versus Liberatore, a guy that you just had success with a couple weeks ago. And it's also important to say, it's never good when you lose a game, but are you saying that the loss today is more indicative of this team throughout the entirety of the season, or the win or the wins that we've seen this week is more indicative of the team this season? I'm going to go with the latter on that every single time. Let's talk about Gausman a little bit. It's so funny that, we were talking about it during the game, and you're 100% right that he was sharp from the jump, man.
He was.
Fastball was pumping 96. everything at his disposal. Splitter was getting a lot of swing and miss, 41% whiffs, even, after the outing that he had, still 41% whiff on the splitter tonight. Everything was rolling. And then the second time through the order, the Washington Nationals, they made some adjustments. I thought he had a little bit of a harder time putting away hitters the second time through.
Yeah.
A lot of 2-2 counts, a lot of 3-2 counts. And then, a couple choppers here and there. That one gapper between Ian Happ and PCA, they got that miscommunication rolling.
Yeah.
More traffic on the bases, and then the big mistake giving up the 3-run bomb to Ortiz.
And I called it the second it happened. Remember I said, this guy hit a bomb off facade last night.
And it was a watch out.
A second later, he hits a bomb off Gausman. Like that kid has got some power,
and
man.
And it's really funny, and that's what also makes baseball really fun, because you could have maybe had the same conversation about Cavalli today. Of sometimes it's funny, Kevin Gausman came out of the chute so sharp, almost too sharp, that maybe he fell in love with his own stuff a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And he only threw 5 sliders today. So it was splitter, 4-seam all day, over and over and over again. And the Nationals beat him on it. You're going to have to create a little bit more of a mix out there. And it's funny that sometimes a guy goes out there and has a bit of a shaky inning, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's on his toes. And then remember, you'll see a pitcher have a couple shaky innings, and then in that third inning, something locks in. And next thing you know, 7 strong innings. Those middle ones, he really starts rolling and getting in a groove. It was almost the reverse today, where maybe Gausman almost got too comfortable, and they jumped him.
Yep.
And once he got jumped, he couldn't get out of that inning. And unfortunately, that 5th inning, the pitch count ran up. It was over 30 pitches in that inning, only 4 2/3 tonight. So baseball is a funny game that you can look awesome in the first inning. Doesn't mean you're going to have a great start.
Yeah.
It sometimes means that you have to keep incorporating and keep trying to keep an opposing lineup off the scent.
You could look phenomenal the first 3 innings, and then it could fall off. That's what Gausman did. And I apologize. I don't know whose account this was. It was somebody, one of the Cubs universe people, and they said that the Nationals, they recognized the splitter the second time around a lot better, and that's why they jumped him. They were able to recognize that splitter from a different vantage point, and ultimately, he looked so good the first time through the order, and then I guess they figured out, lay off this or whatever, and that's how they were able to jump him. But I guess that's my only concerning part. The rest of the game, even the offense not doing anything, doesn't bother me, because I know this is a really, really good offense. And once in a great while, you're going to have your clunkers, right? But I guess my one little concerning part of the whole game was I just wish Gausman would have pitched better. Even 6 innings, 4 runs, okay, fine. I feel better about that. This was definitely an outing that got away from him. I still totally believe in him. His first outing was phenomenal. First 3 innings was really, really good. I'm actually really excited to see him again, right? Because now you've seen one phenomenal outing and one kind of bad one, right? So let me see that third one to paint a better picture of Kevin Gausman.
No, and the numbers back it up too. If you look right here, they laid off the splitter.
Yeah.
They had swing and miss on the splitter, but only no hits off the splitter today. 1 hard hit ball that resulted in an out. 7 hits allowed, 1 hit off the slider, 6 hard hit balls, 6 hits allowed off the 4-seam. So when you're not necessarily locating the way that you want to, you're getting put into situations where you have to rebound into a count, and you have to use that fastball. They were laying off the high stuff too as well. That's a little bit of when you get into trouble. Yeah. So I think it's a bit of a learning lesson. And honestly, let's go silver linings here for the last couple minutes before we take a break and go on to the other side of silver lining number 1. If you're going to have a bad start from him, you might as well get your ass kicked on the other side, offensively, right? If you're going to get shut out and Gausman needs to work through something, you might as well have it now in this situation. And then, again, we lost a game, but when you lose, and sometimes when you get blown out like this, you got to use a lot of guys in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Again, not today. Cavalli was able to at least get through the rest of the game.
Yep.
Cubs lose, but maybe in the grander scheme, you don't have to use anybody out of your bullpen. And now that is 3 times since this last Saturday now.
And back-to-back.
Back-to-back.
Yep.
And also a day off on Monday.
Yep.
That means in the last, I'm bad at math, over the last 7 or 8 days, this bullpen has gotten at least 4 days where they get a complete day off.
It was huge. And honestly, Colin Ray, Javier Assad, and Aaron Savale, the unsung heroes of this week, your bullpen is going to be fresh tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, because of these, unsung heroes of Ray, Assad, and Cavalli. I mean, it really does matter, and I like it better yesterday when Assad saved the bullpen during a victory versus Ray and Cavalli, saving it during defeat. But from a bullpen standpoint, it's all important, and we're going to be nice and fresh tomorrow, and we're going to be ready for the Cardinals and with a fresh bullpen because of those three guys. So yeah, definitely silver lining. Props to Aaron Cavalli for really finishing that game for us, because the last thing you want to do is have to get somebody else up, and he did a great job. Yeah,
when those blowouts happen, that's when you end up throwing out position players because you're trying to protect guys and all that stuff. The protection happened today.
Yes.
And they're going to go into this weekend full strength, full bore. Zephyr Jean can go back-to-back days. Webb can maybe go back-to-back days. Whatever it takes to win this series or hopefully sweep at Wrigley Field, the Cubs are at least going to be in position to do that. That's your silver lining out of the first break. Let's take our first break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. On the other side of the break, not so great news about Daniel Palencia. Cause for concern. Let's talk about it back in 2 minutes. Hey, Justin, get in the car. Want to know where we're going?
Where are we going?
Oh, we're going to the top of the NL Central right now. Pick them up, because we're picking up games every single day here with the Cubs, and that's why I drive Toyota. I've been driving Toyota my whole life. That's why they call me around the office the Toyota boy. Whether it's the Camry or the Corolla, first cars of my dreams. The Christopoulos family always driving cars that are run and made by Toyota. So find the Toyota truck this summer of your dreams. Doesn't matter. It could be the Tundra, the Tacoma, the 4Runner. If you want some cool available features, they got power tailgates to power your game days and an NL Central trailer backup guide. That is champ of the ramp. Find the Toyota truck of your dreams today by simply going to Toyota.com right now. They've got amazing deals up and down for incredibly stylish and durable vehicles. Take it from me, the Toyota boy. Find that Toyota truck today. Go to Toyota.com for Toyota's finest Toyota trucks. Toyota, let's go places.
Let's see. Our Cubbies have had not one but two 10-game winning streaks this season.
It's nice.
Unfortunately, one 10-game losing streak. And now the boys are hot once again. The baseball season is very, very long, and our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your baseball season. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup wherever you are in this great state of Illinois. Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and up north South Beloit, which, by the way, is kind of confusing because South Beloit is actually north, right?
But it's north. Just follow the North Star to South Beloit.
Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff. We have everything in between. If you're feeling lazy, you can go to their website right now for only the best under the sun, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Again, 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. That's HICHGO, HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Sunnyside Dispensary, only the best under the sun, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
We are back on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Joey Christopoulos, Roman in the studio, Sarah on the ones and twos. Cubs lose 7-0, chilling out in the Xfinity Loft right here in the West Loop of downtown Chicago. Today and every episode is presented by Toyota. We talked about the one-hitter. We talked about them getting blanked. We talked about them losing. Time to turn the page, because tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, CHGO Cubs is going to be at the Friday 120 Club. That's right, Cubs Cardinals. Man, it's time to beat up and get some home cooking right now. Yes. Cubs come home tomorrow, and the 120 Club will be there. Here's what you got to do. If you want to meet up with us, come to Murphy's before the game. We're going to be hanging out. Free high fives, free photos. Obviously, drinks will be flowing. If you don't get an opportunity to do that, you can also purchase a ticket, go to the game in the bleachers, and sit with us in the left field bleachers. Or if you're already going to the game, sitting somewhere else. The thing you really got to do is come to Almost Home Tavern. Right after the game, it is at the corner of Clark and Grace in Wrigleyville. We'll be doing a live postgame. Myself, Roman, and Luke Stuckmeyer will be there. Live 1 hour postgame. And Sarah, are you going to be there?
I was like, and me.
Honestly, things would completely fall apart if you were not there.
Well, yeah, the last broadcast we had, Sarah saved the entire thing. We'll spare you all the details, but Sarah was the MVP of our last broadcast.
I almost died.
It would be Luke talking literally into like one of them soup cans with a string attached to it, trying to get some sort of volume on it. But come say hello. We would love to meet you guys if you're hanging out in Wrigleyville tomorrow. A little rain in the morning, but should be really good weather. Clay Holmes tomorrow. That's right, Erica Lang.
I can't wait.
So, that's going to be really exciting.
Clay Holmes is starting tomorrow, which is really, really cool. And also, by the way, unless I'm miscounting here, had the Cubs won 4 games in a row at Wrigley Field dating back to last week, right? I mean, they swept the Dodgers. They beat the Blue Jays. Am I forgetting?
Oh, like a winning streak at Wrigley?
Right now. Yeah, they're playing good ball at Wrigley Field. So before the Dodgers, I'm assuming they were away, right? So
no, I think they got like 6 in a row right now because they played a one-off versus Toronto,
right?
And then the series right before that, I felt like that they won 2 out of 3.
Well, they're on a winning streak.
Yeah, they're playing well
at Wrigley Field, so they're playing good at home. We got Clay Holmes going tomorrow, and you got the CHGO boys and girl in the house. So it should be a lot of fun tomorrow for our Friday 120 Club.
It will be a lot of fun. I'm telling you, like the one thing missing off my 120 Club menu right now is we haven't even had one home run ball hit even relatively close to us. We're usually in the first or second row, practically right behind Ian Happ, ready for a basket shot. I'm very excited for Clay Holmes. Hopefully he keeps that sinker down so there's no opposing home runs heading our way. But, man, Alex Bregman or something, I'm just manifesting it right now that we're going to get a home run ball at one point in our section.
One thing I want to say really fast is that there was a point that it did almost happen. Me, you, and Luke were talking about who's the Pittsburgh shortstop, the young guy, Connor
Griffin?
Connor Griffin.
For his first one.
We were talking about catching his first home run ball and like we sell it or whatever, because he's like supposed to be like a really future star. And we all talked about it for the first home run, and you went to the bathroom for this at bat.
Right.
And the ball was hit directly to us.
But it was like a warning track,
But it was
right?
caught in the warning track.
Yeah,
But I'm saying, like, it was lined up to me and Luke, and we couldn't believe that you were gone. I mean, like, oh my God, it's coming to us. And, like, thankfully it was not a home run. But, man, we almost did get that home run. And I'll tell you what, there may have been a spare ball in the other pocket that I would have thrown back on the field and kept that kid's ball to maybe sell down the road.
So that's a great question, Barb. Will Joey throw the ball on the field if there's a home run ball?
Yes, 1,000%. And by the way, she says Joey, she means Roman.
She means
yes. I will.
Correct.
If I catch an opposing home run,
ball
it's
going
going back on the field. By the way, and it's my audition to play for the Cubs. I'm chucking that ball as far as I can. We're like council's in the dugout going, "Who was that kid?" That's my dream. That's my own fantasy in my head.
Yeah, and I'm at the point in my life too where I've caught a couple of foul balls in my life. A great thrill. Everyone claps for you. You raise your hand up, do all that stuff. I will say though, if I catch a home run ball by one of the Cubs, it is going to one of the kids nearest to me. I'm not taking that home with me. It's going to go to a little kid.
Let me say one thing.
I'm at that point in my life.
So I've seen people pressure adults to do that, right?
Okay.
Here's where I'm in a weird spot because I am a grown-up.
Oh, no, wait, really quick. For context,
yes.
You catch a home run ball.
Yes.
And then I'm giving you a hard time to give that home run ball away to a kid.
To a kid, right? Okay. So here's my thing. I catch the home run ball, and you got fans like Joey, I don't know him, and he's like, oh, give it to that kid, give it to the kid. I have 2 kids at home.
Right.
Like I catch a ball, I want my 12-year-old or my 2-year-old to have it. So I look like a jerk to Wrigley, but no, I'm keeping it for my son. It's a weird thing. What should I do at that point?
I do not care about the kids. If I catch a ball, no, because I'm sorry, I've never caught. I am almost 27 years old.
Okay.
I have never caught an actual foul ball like in a game before.
Yeah.
I've caught, they've thrown balls up before the game, all that.
Yeah.
If I catch a ball, it's mine. Why can't I don't have kids?
Right.
Why can't I keep it?
good
Why?
point.
Why? Why does a child that I don't know that kid? I don't know if that kid's nice or not.
It's the smile of the child.
I don't care about the smile of the child. I
it
care
will
about
make
my smile.
like their life, core memory
But what if it
imprint.
makes my life better?
That's a good point. I mean, like,
What
I
about
hear you.
my
she's
core
never
memory?
caught a ball before. I get that.
And I have another like general rule as well, is in like, in the circumference of a ball heading in my direction, I'm going to do what I can to catch the ball.
Yes.
I am not the type of person that is going to be diving over rows, knocking over old people,
I'm
or
not
if a
gonna
ball's
put-
on the
yeah.
ground,
Right.
I'm not shoving my elbow into the ribs of some old dude just to make sure I get the
I
ball.
do agree with that. If it's in my range, I'll get it. If I have to fight for it, I'm not going to fight for it.
No.
Yeah.
There's bigger fish to fry in life. Trust me. But yeah, no, look, we all have our different Sarah's keeping it.
Yeah.
It's going to your kids.
Yeah.
I'm giving it away to a kid. I think, lo and behold, you're the only one walking home with a ball Proud. And honestly, I hope you get one tomorrow. Now that you said that,
No, you know what?
Now you're manifesting.
We are
really
going to get a ball
now.
tomorrow. I feel like we just put that in the universe. Like I might have to make a sign to say like I'm bringing it home to my 12-year-old or my 2-year-old, just so I don't get booed.
Yeah, for the TV.
Yeah, for the TV.
This is for my son.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny. Flat Earth Poker says if I caught a ball, I'd give it to Sarah. That is very sweet of you.
Thank you.
Chivalry is not dead,
Yes,
indeed.
that's
So we'll be at the 120 Club tomorrow. We're super excited, and hopefully the Cubs fly the W and wipe the taste out of this absolutely crappy loss today, 7-0 to the Nationals. Let's go to our segment right now, the Old National Bank Check It Out. Let's check it out right now with Old National Bank. Whether it's on the field or in your financial life, the best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. It's Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Member FDIC. Roman, let's check out. Got a lot of reports. It isn't just what we see in the box score with the Cubs every single day.
Yeah.
We're monitoring the return, progress, and rehab of a lot of pitchers that hopefully are going to help us out down the stretch. Great news on Edward Cabrera on Tuesday.
Phenomenal
Going to
news.
return and be with the team, according to Taylor McGregor on the Marquee Network today, by the end of this weekend. Maybe chart a course of what's going to happen next. My guess is if he were to start, it maybe be Sunday against the Cardinals or maybe Monday against the White Sox. He'd be in line to do that next.
Can you imagine Cabrera coming back to start against the White Sox?
I kind of want him against the Cardinals on Sunday, but I hear what you're saying.
Wow.
Shelby Milner, good news on him. Bad news, however, continues for Daniel Palencia. Daniel Palencia has struggled. There's no two ways to say it. In his rehab start so far, his last one, only 2/3 of an inning, allowed 4 runs, hit by a pitch, 3 walks. All those runners came around to score. Through 3 outings right now, Palencia's ERA in his rehab assignment is 19.29. And no, that is not a Taylor Sheridan series. That is his ERA right now. Faced 15 batters and thrown a total of 55 pitches, and he's thrown more balls than strikes, Roman. So let's just start here. Let's go a scale of 1 to 10. What's your scale of 1 to 10 concern level? Obviously, 10 being the highest level of concern, 1 being not concerned at all.
I'm at a 5. You know, I'm one that never really cared about rehab stats. You know, I never cared about like, you know, the earned runs when it comes to rehab outings. Like, I want you to be healthy. You know, what's concerning to me is the walks and the hitting the batters.
The hitting of the batters.
Yeah, you know, I just feel like that is concerning to me a little bit. I still, as long as reports are he's feeling good, let's get the next rehab outing, you know? As long as there's no pain and everything's free and loose and everything, I put it at a 5. I still believe heavily in Daniel Palencia. I am starting to hate more and more and more and more the World Baseball Classic. It really is something that I've totally changed my stance on.
Yes.
I loved it while it was happening, but Daniel Palencia was an absolute stud in the WBC, and I just had visions of him closing Game 7 on Halloween for our Cubbies of the World Series because he was that dominant, you know, and we saw it last year. He was dominant, you know. This guy throws, you know, 100, 101. That's the kind of closer I want and what I was expecting this year. And the fact that he's been on the IL, I think twice now, maybe 3 times, and now in the rehab assignments not looking good, it concerns me. And I have to wonder if the WBC had something to do with that, ramping up that early and being all out that early messed up the season, you know, and that really bothers me. But selfishly, as a Cub fan, as an American, I love the WBC for when it comes to like our country. I know he's with Venezuela, but from a selfish Cub standpoint, I hate that tournament. And anyways, so 5, I'm a bit concerned. If he goes back out there next time and pitches great, let's go, you know, but I really truly only care about the health of Palencia. If he's feeling good after this, put him back out there and let him find it.
Come to my side, yes. The WBC.
Yeah.
I must be wearing all black, the dark side of the WBC. I'm not in disagreement. I think it's totally screwed up his season.
Yeah.
Look, I'm happy. I'm happy for the player, right? And I'm happy when any player maybe has success, right? If a guy on a team that I don't root for, hits 3 home runs in a game, or when Alex Bregman on my own team hits 3 home runs in a game, I will clap and I'll be like, oh, that's cool because that's sports. But let's be honest, like, yeah, the Venezuelan team used him on back-to-back nights or maybe 3 nights in a row, like a couple of times.
High leverage.
He was pumping 101 in high leverage moments, threw a lot of pitches. And frankly, I just think it was a little too early to be throwing like that when maybe he should have been saving that for right now or in mid-September. Now, it's not Daniel Palencia's fault that he got hurt, right? Like, it's not his fault that he hurt his oblique and he's had shoulder issues and all this other stuff, but it is a byproduct of participating in that event at the high octane quality that he did, that I think is really just kind of put his season's pretty much a wash. And what we're in right now is just trying to figure out a way of, can we salvage it? Can he help us out a little bit? Can he be a tiny component of a team that we're hoping has a special season? And can he be some sort of a contributor down the stretch? That's going to be the real question. I'm going to give you my concern level on a scale of 1 to 10. But first, let's take a break. And I encourage the chat to as well. Jump in the chat right now. What is your concern level right now for Daniel Palencia? You hear about a rehab ERA of 19.29. Does that scare you? Are you more in the middle like Justin, a little wait and see? Are you one, not concerned at all? I'll tell you my number on the other side of the break. But first, 2 minutes from words from some of our wonderful partners here at the CHGO Cubs podcast. Hey, Justin, walked into the office today, and Jay Zawalski of CHGO Blackhawks whistled at me.
That's kind of weird.
Matt Peck honked his horn when I walked in. I'm getting catcalled around the office. You want to know why? Because I got my Quince jeans on, baby. That's right, my Quince jeans. Rocking them. I love them so much, and even in the summertime, they're so easy and relaxed and comfortable. I go anywhere with my Quince jeans again and again, and that's why I keep going back to Quince. They focus on well-made essentials that naturally become those everyday staples you actually can live in all season long, even if it is the summertime. 100% European linen pants and shirts that are breathable, and they start at only $34. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands because they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middleman, so you're not dealing with all that brand markup all the time. Not just clothing, ladies and gentlemen. Quince has become a trusted favorite for everything from home to travel to everyday essentials. So what are you waiting for? Go to quince.com today/Cubs. Free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Available now in Canada as well. Quince, QUINCE.com/Cubs. Free shipping for 365 days. Go Cubs.
So I walked in the office today, and Matt Peck gave me a hug.
Wow.
And Zawalski gave me a hug as well.
What a nice look at this.
I was rocking my Shady Rays sunglasses.
Peace.
They are very, very good looking. But I will tell you this, not just good looking, these things are built to last. Because y'all know that moment when you put your sunglasses on the top of your car and you drive off, and it's like, oh, my sunglasses. Or let's say, you got kids at the house, sunglasses on the floor, the kid steps on them, boom,
Crunch.
they crack, right? Shady Rays changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. But again, here's the best part. If you lose them or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, no lying, just replacement. So now I can wear my sunglasses whenever I want, wherever I want, without fear. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO50 for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Again, that's CHGO50.
Coming back on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Cubs lose 7-0 to the Washington Nationals, but they do still take 2 out of 3. And as Becky so aptly put up in the chat, they also go 4-2 on the road trip. On the other side of the break, we were talking about Daniel Palencia and concern level, 19.29 ERA. He's had 3 outings in a rehab stint, and typically after maybe the third one, when it's your closer, when it's your most talented relievers, you would say to yourself, maybe it's time to bring this guy back up to the major league level. Justin on the other side put it about a 5 at concern level. I'm pretty close to where Roman is at on that. Where I on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably put it maybe like a 6.2, something like that. And the only reason maybe why I'm a little bit higher on that is because he's not coming up after this last rehab outing.
He can't. No.
And you know what? I don't think he's coming up after the next rehab outing.
Right.
I think he might need 2 or 3 more clean outings at that level and have everything check out. And by that, command of his fastball, working efficiently through an inning, and most importantly, putting zeros up on the board. So you want to be cautious with him and make sure that he's recovering every single time he makes an appearance and he comes out healthy. 3 more appearances to me still sounds more like 7 to maybe 10 days, which is fine. There's still plenty of time because, Roman, the most important thing, right, is when and if Palencia does come up, you want him to be right, and you want him to be gasolina. You want him to be at the top and be able to be a guy that can help you right away. Until that happens, I think Daniel Palencia needs to prove it a little bit.
No, I'm with you, man. And honestly, we have time. And thankfully, because of our deadline, we have the arms. Like, now we're not struggling for arms. We got guys that can pick up the slack, right? So, yeah, however long it takes to get Palencia back to being right, because we've seen him be dominant. You know, I saw in the chat someone said last year he wasn't that great. I don't know what you're talking about. Last year I thought he was phenomenal. So I loved Gasolina last year. That gave me confidence coming into this year that he was going to be a dominant closer. So, yeah, there is no rush. I agree. He's not coming up after this outing. It's going to take probably, for me, maybe 2 in a row, maybe 3 of goose eggs for me to trust him up at the show. But the best part is whenever he's right, and hopefully he gets right, he can be a real X factor for this team and for this bullpen. We can fight about who closes down the road. Let's see who we have healthy going into October, and then we can fit that puzzle. But we are a better team with a dominant Palencia than without him.
Concerning, yes. Is there time? Absolutely. And that's just something that they're going to work through. And, hopefully he starts turning it around in his next outing, and then you go from there, and you just try and stack good performance after good performance, and you take it from there. Let's get to the good side of it. There's a lot of guys. This season is crazy, where it's definitely been like, we should get one of the medical apps in terms of updates on what's going on with all these different players. It doesn't seem like there's a concrete plan or new news maybe about Ben Brown right now. Did get great news about Edward Cabrera, going to rejoin the team after throwing 5 no-hit innings. I cannot wait, and I don't know if they're going to do it, but obviously tomorrow morning is going to be a great episode of Cubs Related. It might be a bit of a somber Brendan Miller, the pitch doctor, who loves Kevin Gausman after a bit of a tough start, but he also might be, resilient and steadfast and steely that everything's going to be just fine. I was texting with him earlier today, and I just watched 10 or 12 pitches of Edward Cabrera at the AAA level throwing no-hit baseball. So I don't know this for sure, but I texted him, and he was going to try and get some data from the minor league level. Edward Cabrera, that arm slot looked like it was a bit up.
Okay.
Looked like it was back to the arm slot that he had used last year with the Marlins. And a lot of people were questioning, well, did he lower his arm slot to maybe take some of the pressure off the shoulder this year?
Right.
Was that causing him problems with his command? And then Brendan also pointed out, too, as well, that he noticed Edward Cabrera kind of getting into his legs a little bit more conviction, a little bit more explosiveness when you push off the rubber. So a healthy Edward Cabrera could also be a bit of an Edward Cabrera that's been tinkering with a few things and maybe coming back with more cleaner mechanics or more explosive stuff than we saw before. Fingers crossed on that. Shelby Miller, a guy that they signed in the offseason, didn't even think was going to play this year. They were saving him away for 2027. He's making rehab assignments, and he's striking guys out right now.
1 inning, 3 Ks.
Right.
Awesome.
And then great news today from Craig Counsell, who said that Matt Shaw is officially, in his words, turned a corner.
Good.
As in hitting without restriction, having good cage sessions. Matt Shaw had alluded to a little bit of him being able to swing at full strength with a little bit of pain, but it's the difference between hurt pain and just dealing with a little something. Now, he's possibly trending towards, by the end of this week, maybe early next week, going on a rehab assignment and beginning his comeback towards hopefully the Major League club. So, Roman, out of those 3, it's fun to get excited about all of them, but what do you think was the best news that you heard out of those 3 today from the Cubs' perspective?
I mean, they all could help this team for the stretch run in October, but I think one guy can really put them over the top, and that's Edward Cabrera. I think that it wasn't just this one outing. He's had back-to-back filthy outings, Kevin Bauer says they're saying Cabrera was filthy in his outing. And Keith Anderson, Cabrera could be that guy if he has control. That's always been his problem. You're looking at a guy with arguably the best stuff on our roster, right? It's just about putting it together. It's a guy that the Cubs went out and got this offseason. It's a guy that potential is sky high. We haven't seen it yet. So if if there was an arm angle thing and maybe it was because of an injury or a mechanical thing, and if that's been fixed, this is a guy that can be in your playoff rotation. So I am most excited about Edward Cabrera. You said you heard that Taylor said that he's going to be activated this weekend or something coming back.
He's gonna rejoin the team this weekend, but they haven't said anything in regards to when he will, make his next appearance at the Major League Club, his official comeback. If you will.
I am so excited for him. I think I was excited about the deadline with Gausman and Clay Holmes and Zephyr John, but Edward Cabrera coming back and being the guy who we thought we traded for, that really puts this team over the top.
Yeah, and Shy Cubs Agony in the chat asking, where does Matt Shaw even fit on this roster? I think it's a fair question, but I'm not overly concerned with it, because if Matt Shaw can come back and be healthy, he adds versatility, flexibility, speed, and a little bit of thump off the bench from the right-handed side. Now, I'll give you a couple of really easy examples. The first one is, if Matt Shaw comes back, and let's just pretend for a second, he hits 300 at the rehab assignment level at AAA and comes back, gets a couple starts, and he gets a couple hits. In my opinion, I think Matt Shaw can easily eat into Tyrone Taylor's playing time
1,000%.
when you want to talk about a left-handed hitter pitcher and you're sitting Ian Happ in left field. I will also go as far as to say it wouldn't kill you over the next 6 weeks or so to get Michael Busch off his feet for a moment, and Matt Shaw has a little experience playing first base. Could you get 27 outs with Matt Shaw at first base? I probably trust him more over there than I would probably Pedro Ramirez or Carson Kelly right now.
Right.
You can get him a day there. He can play third base. He can play right field. I still think Pedro Ramirez has the edge, Roman, in terms of playing time, but fit on the roster. First of all, rosters are going to expand. Second of all, you're going to have to get some of these guys a little bit of playing time. And third of all, it gets back to what Craig was doing early on in the year. We're using that DH like a jukebox machine.
Yeah.
And the best matchup in that moment is the guy that goes in. And frankly, he can do the thing now too, where let's just pretend for a second Conforto starts at DH. In the fifth inning of a game, if it's a lefty up there all of a sudden, Matt Shaw can go in there and pinch hit.
Yeah.
And then Pedro can also play a role in the next turn over that. You're not burning through guys and then you're done. I think it just adds more flexibility. I don't see why having Matt Shaw on the team is a problem. I think it's a good thing to have.
Pedro Ramirez is playing the way we expected Matt Shaw to play for this team, right? Kind of like plugging in and crushing the ball and playing good defense. But, recency bias. I still think Matt Shaw is the better player over the long haul, and hey, listen, they both could fit on this team, and you and I are going to talk about in a little bit of maybe the future, what it looks like with those two guys.
That's our next topic.
But this season, Matt Shaw, when healthy, he can add a lot, and you're absolutely right. I think I have zero loyalty to Taylor, so if he's not cutting it, Matt Shaw absolutely could have that spot, at the very least. The guy has been an elite defender in the infield, but he can play outfield. He could play the corner position. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. Like you said, even Shelby Miller. Like, these are all good guys to have healthy, and they can help your ball club. In order of ranking for me, it's Edward Cabrera 1, Matt Shaw 2, and then Miller 3.
I'm just really fascinated to see, it's August 14th right now. Over the next 10 days or so, how does this roster change? And hopefully for the good way with some of these guys coming back. And I'm really curious to see when August 31st comes around and the Cubs and Brewers play each other for the first time for 7 games over the course of the next 10 days, into the first week of September. Who's back and who's in? Is Daniel Palencia back by then? Is Matt Shaw back by then? Is Edward Cabrera hopefully maybe on the second turn of a rotation start where he looks awesome? Right? Like, I think a lot of things are going to change about this team, and hopefully they're all going to be positive as some of these guys come back and get healthy. I want to get this one segment in here before we run out of time. Thanks to everybody for jumping in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Also, subscribe to CHGO Sports. It's absolutely free. And trust me, as we chase down, hopefully, the NL Central Division title, you are definitely going to want to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any episodes of our CHGO Cubs coverage
and
all season long.
Watch-alongs possibly happening.
12 and 4 in the watch-alongs. We got maybe some crosstown watch-alongs, Sarah. What do you think?
I was going to say tease. That's a tease. There might be more than just a Wednesday watch-along next week.
So
every game, maybe? I don't know.
Subscribe. Let's go.
Come hang out with us all next week. Could be fun. I wanted to get to this one segment, and we didn't get to it last night because the Cubs were awesome and Alex Bregman was amazing. But now's a good time to do it. And I was listening to Northside Territory, a podcast hosted by Sahadev Sharma and Patrick Mooney of The Athletic. Really good listen. Both great, incredible reporters in this town and reporters that we trust for information and knowledge. And they were having a conversation, so I don't want to take words out of their mouth. But they were asking the question, and sometimes when guys know stuff, maybe they talk about stuff that maybe they've heard or maybe they haven't heard, so I can't confirm or deny. But on their show, they were asking the question, and Sahadev had kind of posited as, from his perspective and his view, that Seiya Suzuki is probably not returning to the Chicago Cubs next year, and the Cubs would maybe be more open and willing to have a reunion with Ian Happ than they would with Seiya. There's also a world where Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki are not on the team, and maybe next year it's Matt Shaw in right, Pedro Ramirez in left, and you can kind of just roll it out and see where you go from there. So I wanted to have a conversation about this, and Roman, I would like you to go first, if you want, about what your just reaction is to solely Sahadev opining an opinion, a perspective of his on his show, that Seiya probably not returns to the Cubs, but Ian Happ possibly could.
Well, here's my opine. Here's my opinion.
Yeah.
I have zero connections. Okay, if I was in charge, I would absolutely re-sign Seiya Suzuki and let him be my right fielder. And knowing the last couple years of his deal, he could be a DH. I think that bat is elite. You're seeing it in real time. When he's healthy, that dude can hit, and we saw the down the stretch last year. We saw it in October last year. I'm hoping it's the same this year with down the stretch in October. This guy can hit. I feel like he is a guy that I would love to have in a corner outfield position. And as nice as the guy is, I would let Ian Happ walk. So I would keep Seiya. I'd let Ian Happ walk. And then that other corner outfield spot is a Matt Shaw, Pedro Ramirez figure it out situation from there. Again, Ian Happ's a real nice guy, but we've gone from him being your left fielder no matter what to now we're starting to platoon the guy. That's not a promotion. That is a demotion. You know what I'm saying? And short of him giving us the biggest hometown deal you could possibly get, knowing he's going to be a platoon player with maybe a Matt Shaw or whatever, short of that, I just would rather have Seiya. I think Seiya can help really, really bring you back to October in the playoffs every single year. He's having the second best offensive season of his career right now.
OPS is second highest right now.
So
right.
I think hopefully there's more hot streaks in him. I just think he's an elite bat when he's healthy, and that helps my team more than what Ian Happ does.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring this up because from my perch, from my seat, just as it stands right now, is today. I'm just saying this today, and of course this can change. I think the one thing that I feel fairly certain about is both will not be back.
Right.
I feel pretty certain that
I agree.
Both Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki won't be back, and I don't think it has much to do about the two players. I think it has more to do with what they've seen from Pedro Ramirez this year, what they still like from Matt Shaw moving forward.
Yes.
And frankly, the cost control, and they can spend their dollars in a different place. It's just where I'm landing on that at this particular time.
I agree.
The reason why I wanted to bring this up was because just the way that they were talking about it made me really confused. Because I'm with you, Roman. Like, of all these scenarios, you absolutely have to re-sign Seiya Suzuki.
Yes.
You absolutely need to re-sign Seiya Suzuki for several reasons. First of all, I appreciate the notion of maybe the Cubs are like, well, let's try and get some new young talent in here. We'll play Pedro in left field and we'll play Matt Shaw in right field. I'm sorry, that maybe combines for 17 home runs next year between the two players. When Seiya cracks about 25 a year, who's going to provide the thump in this lineup? Michael Busch is becoming a better hitter, but I'm not guaranteeing that he's going to hit 34 because he's only got 14 right now. PCA, I love him to death. Okay, he's maybe your 130 home run hitter. Where are the guys that are going to provide you slug that are over 440 on a consistent basis? If you've learned anything over the last month, is that PCA and Seiya Suzuki together at the top of the lineup, that is a Batman and Robin combo that I do not want to break up. And furthermore, maybe Seiya prices himself out of the market. All right, I call BS on that, because if you are going to move to Pedro and you're going to move to Matt Shaw, maybe platooning in left, and sure, Matt Shaw can play right while Seiya DHs, you can afford to give Seiya maybe the money that he deserves, because Tyone's money's coming off the books. Shota's money's coming off the books. Ian Happ's money's coming off the books. I just named $60 million right there.
Yep.
So I don't really want to hear that the Cubs can't afford him. The final part about it is, Seiya obviously is a talented hitter. Sure, he can be frustrating at times, but look around the league, everybody. If you look around the league, there just aren't corner outfielders who hit right-handed for power anymore. Frankly, it's almost like an endangered species. He is one of the few guys out there who I believe, who's in his early 30s on a 4 or 5 year deal, can still provide you really comparable production to what he's already giving you right now. So for me, it's almost becoming like it's obvious that they should be interested in having a reunion with Seiya Suzuki. Now, Seiya, I'd have a hard time believing Seiya doesn't want to be in Chicago. He seems to enjoy it.
Exactly.
He seems to love being here. And I think the Cubs should feel that way in kind. Just because you think that you can get Ian Happ at a cheaper rate, I don't think that makes your team necessarily better. And frankly, the problem and the reason why I think people get upset and frustrated with Ian Happ is because he's kind of redundancy. There's a redundancy in the lineup. He provides the same numbers that Dansby Swanson basically does. 240, 230, 20 home runs, 60, 70 RBIs, good defense. It's kind of the same thing, but Dansby plays shortstop, so he's more valuable. They absolutely have to bring back Seiya Suzuki. I can't even believe that they would even be like, oh, well, he's just going to walk anyways. And Cubs fans shouldn't stand for it. Yeah. Let's start the campaign right now. I think they need to bring back Seiya Suzuki out of what he brings to this lineup. And if you look outside the rest of the market, there just aren't a lot of guys out there like him.
Yeah, and let's be clear, this is not coming from the Cubs. So, maybe that is their plan all along. We don't know, you know what I'm saying? I would agree that Seiya seems to really enjoy it here. So I'm not saying you're getting a hometown discount at all, but I would be hard pressed to realize, listen, he came from Japan and this was his team, right? And he spent years here. So the grass isn't always greener, right? He may be very comfortable here with his family to a standpoint of I want to come back here. So ultimately it's if there's an offer from mystery team and the Cubs and it's relatively close or a tie, I'm choosing my home, Chicago, Wrigley Field. Look at the numbers, guys. Seiya Suzuki, we gave him a lot of crap last year about his defense. His defense has improved, and actually, he's one of the better defensive right fielders in the game right now. So he's not only a DH anymore, right? He could play right field and play it pretty well. I like the fact that there is a DH now in the NL where you can sign him, let's say, to a 4 or 5 year deal. And fine, the first couple of years, he's your right fielder, but the back half of that deal, he can be your DH because the bat has been elite. But yeah, I think there's no situation where they both go. I don't see that happening at all. You cannot depend. I love Matt Shaw, and Pedro's been great this year, but you can't depend on both those guys being in the corners. Now, I will say,
then who's your backup infielder?
Right,
that's the whole thing. They're supposed to provide versatility all around the field. Locking them into those corner spots, it negates that additive to the team.
1,000%. I just think that there's also an X factor here of we also don't know what else Jed is thinking, meaning trade, free agencies. I think that regardless, you're going to have to replace production in the corner spots, whether that is our own guys or outside the organization. But I'd be really, really surprised if we let Seiya walk, because that's a guy that I think can really help us for years and years to come.
And letting them both go, I just think is a non-starter. I'm with you. And that's the thing is you could plot out a course where if you let's say you signed Seiya and you got your 2 or 3 years left of Dansby, you got the 4 years left of Nico and Bregman, and then you got a corner outfield that is completely cheap with tons of control all over the place. Mm-hmm. For the people that love Josiah Hartshorn, he's 19 years old. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Historically, track record, everything that you know about prospects, you probably don't see that dude until 2028 if we're lucky. Okay. I'm glad to see Ethan Conrad, their first-round pick. I'm glad to see him starting to hit the ball. But again, another guy that's super young. There really isn't anybody, banging down the door from the outfield perspective, just waiting in the wings for this situation. And again, we'll see what happens this year, but this team is in a win-now window. And I am hoping that whatever maybe preconceived notions they had walking into the year, I hope that a lot of stuff changes the way that they view things by the end of this season. As in, I don't know at the beginning of this year, Jed was like, yeah, I'm going to have to go get 5 guys at the trade deadline. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to buy in as hard as I bought in and trade Jefferson Rojas at the trade deadline. I think the season dictated that, yeah, I need to be aggressive because I believe in this group and this core right now.
It was a pivot.
Right.
And he pivoted,
but
to his credit.
But if that already exists and you already have that confidence, by season's end, that confidence should typically still be there. So then that also maybe engenders saying the confidence of, yeah, we should bring Seiya Suzuki back. You know what I mean?
Not just all the money that's coming off the books, but, a lot of the guys that we have now are cost certain and or cheap. Like Edward Cabrera hopefully comes back healthy, and he's under control for, I believe, 2 more years, right? At a cheap salary. Ben Brown would also be in your rotation next year.
Justin,
at a cheap
maybe
salary.
Justin Steele. Bring back Matthew Boyd a little on the cheap.
So, ultimately, you're going to have a lot of money left and a lot of cost-controlled and or cheap players that are important for your team. So there's no reason that Seiya can, quote-unquote, price himself out of this team because we're going to have the money, And all I'll say is this. If by chance they decide to let Seiya walk, there better be a great plan B that is not re-signing Ian Happ. It's got to be trading for a stud, signing a stud. You better replace that production with somebody great, and otherwise I will lead the riot of no, we're not standing for this. But again, let's worry about that later. I still feel like Seiya loves it here. And you gotta respect what the guy's doing. He's a great ball player, and championship ball clubs need great ball players.
Yeah, whatever it is, the dude better have an OPS over 820. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, why don't you just bring back Seiya Suzuki? That's pretty much where I'm going to land on that. A couple minutes here left on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota. Thank you so much for chilling with us in the chat. Remember, tomorrow, Friday 120 Club and post-game show. So if you're going to come to Almost Home Tavern, we're going to high-five you when you see there. But also for people in the chat, we got a post-game tomorrow after the Cubs Cards games. So make sure you tune in. Want to see everybody in the chat, and hopefully it's going to be a Cub dub because, Roman, I want to get your take on what you think this weekend series is going to look like. I am just going to say it because I want to just get it out there and be verbal about it. Tomorrow is not a pivotal, crucial, whatever adjective you want to put on it.
Yeah.
I do want to see the Cubs play well, though, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you almost get no hit and you get kind of shut down the way that you can, it can bleed a little bit into the next performance. It would be really great to see the Cubs have a nice bounce-back victory tomorrow, score 4 or 5 runs, 15-50 if they want to.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Just get the offense back to where it was. Make it feel more like a blip, more than maybe something that could be building in a negative direction.
Well, I go back to how I opened the show. I am not worried at all about this team. Like I expressed earlier, you sweep the Dodgers. You played really well against the Yankees before that. And then you sweep the Dodgers, beat the Blue Jays, and you go on this road trip and you're 4-2. That's great. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, today was a stinker, but it is part of that 4-2 road trip. The Cubs are playing great ball. So I do not worry about today's loss. You flush it, you come home. What do I expect to see this weekend, Joey? It's a series win. Listen, I would love a sweep. Sweeping teams is hard. So I'm not going to be let down if you don't sweep the Cardinals. I will be let down if we don't win the series. So tomorrow's pivotal, I think you're right, because you're coming off a stinker. It'd be good to see some offense. But also Clay Holmes, his first start for the Cubs was not good. So I'd like to see Holmes tomorrow pitch a quality start. I want to see, what he was before the injury, So, he's now one start deep into this organization, one start deep from the IL. I want to see Clay Holmes shove tomorrow, and I want to see the offense get back to who they are and win that game and win the series ultimately.
Yeah, just ultimately for me, it's like if they lose tomorrow, it's a little bit of baseball. It's a new series. It's the Cardinals. You can lose a game any given day. they win tomorrow or they win convincingly, today's performance just flies so fast into the rearview mirror.
Yep.
It's almost like it doesn't even matter.
Yep.
And that's what I would like to see. And also selfishly, because we're going to be there.
We're going to be there, right?
We're going to be there.
And
the
we want
Friday
a home run
120 Club.
ball for Sarah.
And and Stuckey will be back. You know what I mean? So that's going to do it for today's episode of CHGO Cubs.
Really fast, by the way.
Please.
Everybody, let's all cheer for the Dodgers this weekend.
Yeah.
We need the Dodgers to do what they do and handle business. And how about a 4-game sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers in LA? That would be music to my ears.
Cubs do lose a half game back to the Brewers tonight. They're now 3.5 back heading into tonight's action. Yeah, go Doyers. I don't like saying that out loud very often, but you know what?
This weekend.
For the next 100 hours or so,
Yes.
whatever. Blue and white. Let's rock and roll. Thanks to everybody for jumping in the chat. Today's episode, as always, is presented by Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Make sure you go to Toyota.com for all their amazing deals on Toyota trucks. Chilling in the Xfinity Loft. Shout out to Sarah. Great job. Good to have you back and excited to have you with us for the Friday 120 Club because without you, we'd be screwed. For Roman, Joey Christopoulos, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Stuckey is back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at Almost Home Tavern, getting that chicken parm pizza. Until then, go Cubs. We'll see you then. Fly the W. We'll go get them tomorrow.
Go Dodgers.
We all silly like the mayor.